everyone, it's Kelly. I don't have a normal intro, but let's get into it. So today I'm going to break down this 11-pound pork butt that I got at my local butcher, and we are going to make some breakfast sausage with it. So you can see it's quite large, and there is the bone that goes through it. And I'm going to try to flip it over with just one hand, which is surprisingly difficult, but we got there. So this is the fat cap. It is quite large, so I will take that off. And for this to be more manageable, I'm just going to cut it in half and put the bone side away for later, and then start carving away at the fat cap because I definitely don't need all of that. You can save it. Like, I put it in this bowl. I might render it later if I'm feeling ambitious, but you can also just throw it away. And I'm slicing these pork butt steaks into about 1-inch thick pieces so I can then easily cube it. You can see there it's really well marbled, which will make for very delicious sausage at the end. So I am just going to cube this into 1-inch cubes, which will be easiest for my meat grinder, the KitchenAid attachment, to break down. So let's just speed right on through this and get to the grinder. Okay, so we've got about 4.5 pounds, and I'll bring it to the grinder. So I did refrigerate it, and you can see the meat grinder is pretty opaque white. It's been in the freezer for several days just to prep for this. But I set the KitchenAid to level 4, and this is the coarse grind. I am going to grind this again on the next smallest setting, but I will just send all 4.5 pounds of cubed pork butt, which really is pork shoulder, through this grinder. To make for easier cleanup for myself, I just used the foil that I was using to cover the bowl as the crash landing pad for all of this pork on a cookie sheet to help stabilize it. It makes for really easy cleanup, and then I get multiple uses out of this foil. So quickly, I'm just going to switch the grinder blade or the plate from the coarse one to the next size down. Secure that back on there. Clean out any extra meat from that first plate. Tell Franklin how handsome he is. Alright, so there's the coarse grind, and we're just going to rinse and repeat all of that through the grinder one more time. Alright, now that that is finishing up, I am just going to get all of the meat out of this grinder, and then I will portion this out into, once again, more manageable sizes to work with. One great thing about doing this yourself is that you avoid a lot of food waste, so make sure to get every ounce out of the grinder that is possible. And so also you don't waste money. If you don't waste product, you won't waste money, so that's always good practice. So once again, we have 4.5 pounds of pork here. I am just portioning it off into individual 3 equal portions, which roughly is about 1.5 pounds. Nothing scientific. I just like to keep it even, and putting that foil on top one last time and into the fridge before we mix. Okay, so I'm making 2 flavors, jalapeno cheddar and maple blueberry. I'm gonna start both of these. These are each 1.5 pounds roughly. The jalapeno cheddar will get salt and pepper, and the blueberry maple will just get salt to help those flavors come through. This is 2 large jalapenos that I minced and equal part minced cheddar cubes. And I'm wearing a glove because several times I have worked with hot peppers and then gone to take my contacts out or put contacts in, and even though I wash my hands really well, that spice still stays on there. So I'm just practicing safe kitchen practices and using a glove. I also decided to use a different glove for the blueberry maple sausage just because maple is sticky and I don't like that feeling on my hand. So I'm just eyeballing. I'd say it's about 1/2 cup of blueberries here with 2 to 3 tablespoons of pure maple syrup. And I'm just going to mix that up really well. And it's not safe to eat raw pork, so I am going to mix this until I think it looks good. And then I'm going to cook a little bit of each one, there we go, in a pan to make sure I like the seasoning. I ended up adding more blueberries and maple, as well as the rest of the jalapeno cheddar. So here we go. We're going to portion these out. This is a cast iron breadstick pan that I got from Cast Iron Kyle on Instagram. He does really great work with vintage cast irons. And I got this in a fun draft that he did. So even though this pork has a lot of fat, I'm just putting a thin coat of oil in the pan because I don't want anything to stick. Again, I'm just pushing the pork into the molds. This will create little sausage shapes, which I will be using for fun brunch with some friends tomorrow, but I don't know when that video will be up, but it'll be the next day from when I'm cooking this. So just filling in every crevice, and I'm gonna repeat this process once again with the jalapeno cheddar. I'm gonna put it in a different vintage cast iron that I also got from Kyle. I'm using an offset spatula just to even off this top. And ultimately, I'm going to bake both of these off in my oven at 375 for about 20 minutes or until it's cooked through. So yeah, here is that vintage gem muffin cast iron pan. Same process, a little bit of oil, and I'm going to fill each muffin tin to the top with sausage. This will reduce back and shrink as it cooks, but I don't want it to overflow, and these are intended to be 2-bite corn dogs tomorrow, so not a big deal. I did have extra raw sausage of both the blueberry maple and jalapeno, so I put those in little plastic bags, and I'll save those for later. But I'm going to cook these off, and you'll see the final product in just a second. Okay, so these are done. I did temp them with my instant read thermometer to make sure that they were at 145 or above, and just taking them out of the cast iron pan almost immediately because it will retain heat and I don't want these to overcook. Same with the jalapeno cheddar, and I will save these and fry them up in some batter tomorrow with friends. So thank you guys so much for watching this video about how I go from full pork shoulder to seasoned breakfast sausage. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to come back for part 2 where these get turned into breakfast corn dogs. And until then, happy eating!